There are a lot of maps that many will consider for the top 5. One of the maps that gets brought up pretty consistently is Mob of the Dead. And I can see why. There's so much to love from this map. And it comes from a time when Treyarch was finally figuring out and perfecting something in zombies that just works. Mob of the Dead isn't just a great map, but it is an inspiration and predecessor to all the great maps in the history of zombies. It does all this while feeling so natural and familiar, even when it first came out. And this is what I want to talk about today. Why getting into Mob of the Dead is so effortless, like it's something you've always known, and how you'll never be lost playing. Hi, my name is Travis, and you clicking on this video, that's what's up. Welcome to the next installment of my Zombies map review series, The Effortlessness of Mob of the Dead. I really need to come up with a proper name for this series by now, hopefully by next time. But anyways, before getting into the bread and butter, I want to explain the title. When I say effortlessness, I don't mean that there was no effort put into the map or that Mob of the Dead is just so incredibly easy that it takes no effort to play. What I mean is that Mob of the Dead just feels effortless to play. Just from traversing through the map, getting set up, and even the Easter egg is just so natural. So, with that out of the way, let's get into it with the first reason why I made this video. I want to start by saying the best part of Mob by far is the map design. What more could you want from an atmospheric point of view? Also horror as well as history and a non-fiction setting. That setting you would think sets up for failure by locking you in a very restricted area and playstyle, but somehow it just works. We've seen it done with maps like Rise and Drag. Being in a place that actually exists and you can visit adds to the familiar feeling, making you more comfortable playing the map and traversing it. Having a blueprint already laid out for you allows someone like a designer just to add to what's already there, which is exactly what Treyarch did. They added on to something so simple like a prison, the Alcatraz prison, but it improved everything about it without tarnishing the original design. It adds enough not to feel restricting, with enough space to run around and train zombies. There are great training spots, the showers, the roof, and the pack bridge. There are a few places to sit and camp if that is your style as well. Getting from one end of the map to the other doesn't feel like a hassle and is not confusing like Origins trenches. Also, there's nothing to slow you down like the mud in Origins either. Each area of Mob of the Dead feels fun. It's like you're running through your own backyard. And a lot of maps, and this just may be me, but it always takes me a while to get used to its design, where I am and where I need to go. Mob has never felt that way for me. It feels linear, and within 5 minutes of playing the map, I was already keen to where I was going, and where I had already been. When doing anything on Mob, you'll have to go to different parts of the map, like the laundry room or showers, for example. Going back and forth to these places feels like I'm an inmate in the prison itself. I'm on a life sentence and I'm spending my whole life there, so I'm going to know where everything is. But I've only been playing for 20 minutes or so. Even if you do start to feel like you're getting lost, there's plenty of ways to find your way back to something familiar. There's plenty of signs and landmarks that put you back in a comfortable position. Whether it's the look, feel, atmosphere, or flow of the map design is perfect. The least familiar part of Mob of the Dead are its characters. At least, that's how it seems on the surface. When first playing Mob, you're introduced to these characters that you have never met until this point. But through the first face we see in the opening cutscene, Sal DeLuca, we are greeted with a warm demeanor and a smile inviting you in and making you feel like home. Each new mobster is full of personality and charisma that's captivating, to say the least. Even not being familiar with them, you want to get familiar. That amazing opening cutscene is perfect in making you interested and want to play as these characters and learn their story. Speaking of story, that is the next thing I would like to talk about. The story of Mob of the Dead is based on a real story that actually happened in Alcatraz. Something very similar happened in real life, where a group of prisoners had a similar plan trying to escape the inescapable prison. Once again, I believe that tying the story in with real life allows for the gameplay to feel more natural because it's easier to relate to and understand something that is real and not imaginary. It's hard to talk about the story without mentioning the Easter egg. Doing the Easter egg is the easiest way to understand the full story of Mob of the Dead. What I love about this Easter egg is that anyone who plays zombies can do it. It's one of the easiest to grasp and understand how to do. I mean, 90% of it is building the plane, and you need to do that to pack a punch anyways. So, it's another reason why this map just flows perfectly. So, just by playing the map, you're learning about the story and doing the Easter egg. Not to mention, the Easter egg takes probably less than 30 minutes, and way less than that if you know what you're doing. It's not long, and you don't have to go out of your way to remember a million things. You're already building the plane for Pack-a-Punch, and you're already using your afterlives to turn on perks. On your way to do those things, you can finish the Easter egg, or almost. The only problem is that you can't do the last step on solo, which sucks if you don't have friends. I'm talking to you, James. James probably just shit their pants if they're watching this. Another thing about Mob that I love is that nothing in the map feels forced. Besides building the plane for the first time, you don't really have to do anything. Of course, it is worth it to do the steps for the Wonder Weapon and its upgraded versions, but that's up to you. Feeding the dogs for the Hell's Retriever and upgrading to the Hell's Redeemer is a fun challenge, but it doesn't need to be done to have a good time. Yet all these things are so intriguing and interesting that, at least for me, I love doing them almost every time I play the map. Nothing feels like a chore to do either, like building the Blundergat or feeding the dogs for the Hell's Retriever. Doing any quest on the map is genuinely a great time. Most maps, there's always one thing that's kind of a drag to do. For Origins, it's definitely washing the stone, or for me, anything that has to do with mud and the robots. Not a good combo. DE is 100% the firebow, considering how precise you have to be. For Mob, it doesn't feel like that. Building the plane for Pack and the Easter egg is just a simple fetch quest. Of course, there's a couple spots where you'll have to kill a Brutus or a few zombies, but once again, you're already doing those things just playing the game normally. Everything from the map design, characters and story, and the Easter egg just flows perfectly. Mob is just challenging enough where it doesn't feel boring, and it's easy in the places it needs to be, like setting up and doing the Easter egg. Yes, most of the things you do aren't necessary, but you'll want to do everything you possibly can because of how the map flows and how natural it feels to the player. With an excellent cast and a fantastic one-off story, it's a hard map to hate. And if I had to rate it, which I don't do, but I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. There's nothing bad I really have to say about it, but there are some maps that just scratches specific itches for me, and Mob doesn't hit all those spots. I really do love this map though. It is by far the best map on Black Ops 2 in my opinion, and nothing really comes close. Buried maybe, but it's still a heavy margin. And I think it's safe to say you guys know my favorite map at this point. It's the Horizon Drag. And DE got so much inspiration from Mob. Feeding the three animal heads is something that never gets old. They both have similar map designs in terms of flow, and their atmospheres are both places I'd love to be in. I feel like they both could be a movie of their own, which is always a great thing when you can compare a map to a movie. I've talked about how I love the way the map looks and feels, but I love the characters also. Brutus is an amazing boss zombie. He's not too hard, but he has just enough presence to keep you on your toes. Also, if you don't kill him fast enough, there are actually consequences, so you can't just run forever. The Blundergat is up there for me when it comes to my top wonder weapons. It's worth getting every time you play Mob, and it's gotten me out of a pickle or two on many occasions. I think the biggest thing that Mob lacks for me is that nostalgia bonus. I never played the map as a kid, and not enough time has passed for me to feel the way a lot of people feel about this great map. Mob of the Dead is pretty close to perfect in my opinion, and it's by far the best map design in terms of flow. The atmosphere is second to none, although a good snowy map would make me cream faster than you can say Horizon Drag. Even if it's not your favorite map, or even if you don't like it, you can't deny its impact on future maps to come and the impact on the zombies community. In every way and in everything that it does, Mob of the Dead is just effortless. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you stuck around, hopefully you enjoyed what I had to say about this more than phenomenal map. Next time we'll be getting into one of my most anticipated videos yet, for me at least. It's the end of Black Ops 2 with Origins, a map I've been back and forth to say the least with my opinion on it. And it's sure to be an interesting one. I got a few more projects coming up pretty soon. I'm starting to I want to get more into um, other reviews, such like different games and games that are more personal to me. Um, but that's in the future. For now, I've been Travis, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.